Johnny here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at all the upcoming games in November of 2024. Now, there's quite a few here that I definitely am excited for. There's a few here that I think you may be excited for, and there's a couple here that you may not even know about. But that's what this video is for. We're going to be taking a look at all the, at least what I think, relevant games releasing in November of this year, and I'm really excited to take a look at some of these upcoming games. Should be a good one. But if you guys love gaming, consider subscribing, share with your friends, and I really do appreciate all the support you guys give me, especially the support here on this channel. Doesn't matter what you love: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, third party, indie, VR, whatever it may be. I appreciate all the support, and I hope you guys enjoy this video as much as I do making it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and let's talk about all of the upcoming games in November of this year. Kicking this off, we're going to start with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Now, this is a big one for a lot of people because, well, Microsoft Flight Simulator is one of the most realistic, technologically advanced games to date. And I think 2024 looks to be upping that in just about every single way possible. Everything about this game just looks technically insane, and this game does have a pretty large community, and it always does insanely well when it comes to critics and audiences alike. And you know, this game has so much success that I'm sure this one's gonna pretty much replicate that very, very well. Now they are adding a lot more to this one this time around. In case the last one, it was kind of just, you know, go wherever you want and see whatever you want. This time we're gonna be able to do whatever we want. In that case, meaning you can, you know, be a rescue pilot, you can deliver shipments, you can take passengers to certain airports or take them to a certain destination, you can go help an oil rig or whatnot, or, you know, there's a lot of different things. You're basically able to complete jobs, start up your own aviator businesses. This is much more than just a flying game now. There's a whole lot more to this. There's management to it, and it feels like it's more of a game this time around rather than just a simulation, but it still holds that core simulation feeling and just features that you would expect. And there's a lot of hype around this one, and I'm sure this is going to be a big hit when it releases next month, or in this case, I don't know when you're seeing this video, but it could be this month. Speaking of simulators, Farming Simulator is always at the top of everybody's conversation when you think of simulators, and that's just because it is just a formula that is, quite frankly, almost perfect. Farming Simulator, while, you know, you may think I'm not into farming, why would I care about farming? You know, this is a game that I've dabbled with in years past. This is a game where when I start playing it, I get absolutely addicted to it, and it's because it kind of is just a unexplainable fun. It just takes a bunch of technology, and it takes a bunch of fun video game concepts, and it just turns it into a really casual, cozy, engaging experience that we really can't find anywhere else. And with 2025, it looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty good entry in the series. I personally won't be playing it this year, but I'm sure in years to come I'll feel the itch again to play Farming Simulator, and I'll pick it up then. But for people who play this every time a new entry releases, I'm excited for you, and it will be coming out this year, 2025, Farming Simulator. LEGO is making its return with none other than the Horizon franchise, which is a PlayStation-owned franchise. And this is kind of a weird one because we heard rumors and leaks of a LEGO Horizon game in the work. And we had a lot of questions. We really didn't know what it was. We didn't know when to expect it. We didn't know why it was happening. And we got the official reveal at, I do believe, Summer Games Fest. It was. And it's definitely not what everyone expected, but I have heard some really good things about this, and honestly, this is a game I could definitely see being fun. It's definitely one I'm not exactly sure, you know, what the goal behind it is or why we decided to do this, but I do feel like overall this will be an enjoyable game, especially for the younger or family audiences. This is a game that I do think is gonna show creativity. It's gonna show some very nice looking visuals when it comes to Lego, at least, and it does seem like a different type of Lego game. It doesn't seem like your Skywalker Saga type formula, and it doesn't necessarily seem like your classic like Lego Batman formula either. It kind of seems to be doing its own thing with little home base HQ where you can then build your own village, as well as just Lego, like, or Horizon and PlayStation, that this seems like a very different entry in PlayStation's portfolio that they're also releasing on Switch this time around, which I think is such a awesome call. But nonetheless, this seems to be different. It seems like it is going to be very enjoyable for those interested as it releases next month. And speaking of reaching certain audiences, look no further than VR. VR is getting another big, I would say, AAA game in that space, and that is Metro Awakening. Now, when this game was announced, I was actually super duper excited, and I was honestly even thinking, maybe this is the game that gets me to buy a Meta Quest, or a Meta Quest 3 specifically, because I am personally a huge fan of VR. It's just, I do feel like we need more of these types of games, and this is one of those types of games where I'm like, this is why I would want a VR game, or a VR system. Batman Arkham Shadow is also one of those things that just released this month. But nonetheless, Metro Awakening, it looks awesome. It's going to bring that horror to VR. It's going to bring that amazing shooting to VR. And it's going to bring, hopefully, an interesting story and setting to VR. And hopefully, it brings the gameplay we want out of VR as it releases in November. But nonetheless, I hope this is a big hit, and I hope this is what VR needs. Now, I do believe this next game is from one of the creators of Silent Hill, and this is Slitterhead. Now, this is an interesting one because, truth be said, I'm not really excited for this game, but that doesn't mean you guys can't be. I personally have a lot of things I wasn't impressed, or I don't think necessarily look very good off of the trailers, but nonetheless, this is going to be a release that people talk about when it comes out just because of the pedigree of the creator and designers behind it. And what I will say is it does have an interesting concept, and I think it looks interesting. I just don't know exactly how it will perform or how the execution will be. But nonetheless, we hope for the best out of every game. You can't always just put it to the side because you never know how it might land. But nonetheless, this does look like a scary, unique, creative game. And I hope it ends up sticking the landing. But if you guys are interested, Slitterhead is releasing this November. So if you're interested, maybe you want to pick it up, or you might want to wait for reviews to see how it performs. I know myself, I am a massive Tetris fan, like pretty much obsessed with Tetris. Like I'm a low-key Tetris glazer for good reason. Tetris is just, it might be just one of the greatest video games of all time, period. It's crazy to me how a video game can be so simple like Tetris, and it can be so much better than 98% of every other game in existence. And it's just because Tetris is just one of a kind. It really is. And we are getting Tetris Forever, which is basically combining a ton of different Tetris games throughout all of its history into one video game. How awesome is that? We're talking classic Tetrises, we're talking spin-off Tetrises, we're talking newer Tetrises, but for the most part, this is your ultimate Tetris package, combining so many different Tetris games. I know for me, a lot of these games, I'm not going to know what they are or why they are. I'm probably not going to enjoy a lot of these games because they're so out there. I'm more of just a classic Tetris fan. But to get that classic Tetris and just to see another Tetris game and just the franchise continuing just warms my heart because this is such a delightful game and I do love me some Tetris. But I'm excited for it to release and see how it does. I really hope this is a success so we can continue to get Tetris games because this franchise needs to be just a success. We're getting a pretty big sized remake in November, being Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. This is one people have been waiting for a while, and we were honestly expecting the original trilogy to be remade, whereas in November we're getting 3. Now we are getting 1 and 2 next year, but they are releasing 3 first, and you might be wondering why the heck would they do that? That's because in terms of the story, in terms of chronological order, Dragon Quest III technically happens story-wise before 1 and 2. That is why they are releasing 3 first. That way you can do that, and then you could get to 1 and 2 when they release next year. But nonetheless, people love these 2D HD remakes. People love Dragon Quest. Combine them, and here you go. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of promise. There's a lot of just anticipation building for this remake, and this will definitely be something I probably will pick up when it goes on sale. Personally, there's a lot of games releasing around the time of this release, so I won't be able to get to it, but this is a game I definitely have my eye on, and I'm very interested to see how it performs and how it executes, because if I end up liking this, then I'm definitely looking forward to 1 and 2 as well. But this is just such a game that has beautiful visuals, great characters, great RPG elements, great combat. I've heard so many great things about the older Dragon Quest games, and I've personally have enjoyed more recent Dragon Quest games as well. So I know I like this franchise. Will I like these originals? I really hope so, but it's definitely one that I'm going to be giving a try because I think it does look so charming. One of my most anticipated games of the month is easily Mario and Luigi Brothership. I am a huge Mario spin-off fan. I mean, I love mainline Marios as well, don't be wrong, but like it's kind of funny, like when I look at all my favorite Mario games of all time, like I have so many spin-offs up there, whether it's sports, whether it's like just other things like Mario RPG or Mario plus Rabbids. But one thing that sticks there is that I love the turn-based Mario games. Turn-based or strategy Mario games are just, for some reason, right up my alley, and I seem to love them way more than like most people seem to do. I mean, Mario plus Rabbids is like in my top 5 favorite games of all time. Like, can you believe that? And I am so excited for this because, I mean, this is once again another Mario spin-off that has that strategy turn-based combat mixed with what seems to be like more of a platforming focus this time around, or at least adventure focus this time around. I love the visual style they're going for. I love a lot of the gameplay we've seen. I love the music. I love the vibe. Everything this game is giving is exactly what I want out of a Mario spin-off game. This is also a franchise we haven't seen in a long time. A lot of people didn't even think we would get another one, so it's kind of a miracle in that department. But for the most part, this is just a game I'm sure I'm going to absolutely enjoy the heck out of, and I can't wait for it to launch in November. Unfortunately, this game does come out one day after Planet Coaster, so it's going to be really hard to play this game and not think about playing Planet Coaster, but nonetheless, I'm going to give it the old college try. I'm going to try my absolute hardest, but nonetheless, I am very much looking forward to playing this game. But one of the biggest games releasing in November is easily Stalker 2. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is finally, and I say finally with such a big capitalization around it, releasing to the public this November. This game was originally announced in 2020, like before the Xbox Series X even came out. It was announced as one of the first Unreal Engine 5 games. It was announced as one of the first Xbox exclusive games. And unfortunately, this is a game that kept on getting delayed due to completely understandable reasons. This is a Ukrainian-based studio developing the game. And unfortunately, due to real-world events and just war and just really unfortunate things that we send our hearts and we send our prayers out to all the developers in Ukraine, this game has been going through some development troubles getting to where it is now. It kept on getting delayed because of course, the unfortunate events in Ukraine. But nonetheless, they have pushed through and they are finally ready to release this game to the world. And I couldn't be more excited. This game looks special. This game really does look like it is going to be such a standout experience compared to any other first-person shooter we've seen in a long time. It looks like it has so much passion behind it. It looks like it has blood, sweat, and tears written all over it. It really does seem like this game has everything that they've ever wanted to do in a video game in it. I'm super duper excited. I love horror. I love shooters. I love survival games. I love everything this game is, and I can't wait to finally experience it because I think the gameplay looks cool. I think the story, I think the world, I think everything going on looks so cool. Not to mention, it looks stunning. The details, the realism, everything about it screams phenomenal. And I really do think this is going to be a huge hit. I wouldn't be shocked if this ends up being one of the best games of the year, or even one of my favorite games of the year. Now, we're gonna have to see how performance does and just how great it holds up. This does seem to be like a bigger experience. So, how is the consistency going to be? How is the pacing going to be? We'll have to see. But from everything we've seen, this game continues to look better and better, and I can't wait. But if you guys know me, you know easily my most anticipated game of the month is Planet Coaster 2. I mean, Planet Coaster is one of my favorite games of all time, period. This is one of my favorite genres of all, period, specifically park builders. And, you know, this game is a dream come true for me. I didn't really even know we were going to get a Planet Coaster 2. I didn't imagine we would ever see one. I didn't know when we were getting one. I didn't know how we were getting one. I just remember being at work one day, seeing a notification on my phone that a Planet Coaster 2 trailer just dropped. And I couldn't believe my eyes. And I went home, I watched the trailer, I ended up crying. I think it might be one of the only videos I've ever cried in. And, you know, it really is just a dream come true, especially when you actually look at the game. The things they're doing, the features that are in it, the content, just how the game looks and how it plays. I just know this is going to be one of my favorite games of the year. I know this is going to be one of my favorite games of all time. I just know because I love these kind of games, and I already love this game, and it hasn't even come out. But, I mean, it is one of those games, though. It's like, how do you really mess it up? And I don't really feel like you can. And it's building on something that's already so fantastic. No pun intended for the building upon. But, you know, I'm just so excited. This is going to be a game I'm going to spend hundreds to thousands of hours in. Planet Coaster is one of my most played games of all time, if not my most played game of all time. And it's for good reason. I'm a theme park enthusiast. I love theme parks just in general, and I love park builders. Put that together, and you get Planet Coaster 2 releasing this month. But that's going to do it for all the games releasing in November. There are some other smaller ones, but I don't think they're relevant enough to be in this video. No diss towards those games, but if you are interested, you can look them up and they will be there. But for the most part, those are all the big ones that I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you also for watching. Let me know in the comments, what games are you most looking forward to? Which ones do you think will be the biggest? Which one do you think will be the best? I'm curious to hear it. I'd love to have a conversation with you. But without further ado, we will be back in December for games releasing them. But thank you also for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.